And yippee! Okay, we are live. Hello, I am Katie reporting from PHL 3 with my co-caster Blueski.
Hello.
And we are getting into a bombastic matchup between the Castors and the Frost Giants. Two teams with a lot of players to look out for as we quickly look at their respective schedules. The Vancouver Frost Giants second in the standings currently, with a 5-4-1-2 record, and then the Castors lower in the standings at seventh, but with a very strong team, trying to piece together some more wins with a 2-4-2-4 record. And I think this will be a good matchup. Any other thoughts or players you're especially looking out for?
Absolutely. Everyone in Division Two, there's quite a bit of a logjam in the middle. Everyone's really good. Everyone's really close. So any of these games, can go either way, and these points are super important. And I know it's been incredibly competitive. The Vancouver Frost Giants are at the top of the league. I believe they're second for a reason. They are fantastic. They have quite the defensive setup with Lettuce anchoring the back end on defense, not letting much by. And even if anything does, Sleepy, who has, I believe, 8 shutouts on the year so far for the Frost Giants, has shut the door on many teams' offenses. So it's incredibly difficult to generate much against these guys. On the other hand, the Castors, they are loaded with talent. I can't wait to see what they can do today.
Yeah, I mean, two very good teams. I'm really interested to see how the offense is looking for the Castors because, like you said, Sleepy with, I believe, the most shutouts, maybe in any of the divisions, but
It's
especially
something
in
crazy.
yeah. And then with Lettuce there, Lettuce also recently part of a Division One trade as a swap for Echo uh, onto my current team, the Halifax Hooks, and looking forward to playing with him and having him in the locker room. But even just playing with him in Pugs, like a really crazy defender to watch watch work. Um,
Absolutely. Any goalie would be lucky to have Lettuce in front of him.
yeah, and it actually looks like right now we have Aki starting instead of Inik,
Interesting.
and we just watched him, I believe, the other night with some pretty good games going for him in
Yeah,
D3.
he was rock solid in D3. D3 can be interesting because it's hard to predict some things
Yeah,
in D3. It's just so wild, and it truly is the Wild West
total
out there.
chaos. As we kick things off with the puck going back to Nem and whipping it up to Stamkos for an early attack. Dabs able to pick it up. Dabs is taking some ice time, so looking forward to seeing some moves from him.
Absolutely love it.
And Lettuce picking up in the corner, seeing if he can make a play out of this, skipping it past one of the Castors, bouncing off the back of Tim Jim, but is able to pick it up, but quickly swept away as Lettuce doing his defensive work, getting it over Nem and Timothy Jimothy, and finally breaking into the middle ice and skating up for an attack.
Ooh, good luck. I love that move to cross into the center ice, using the handle to get that good shot.
Yeah, super dangerous, easy way to break past the defensive coverage, just cutting to the side and getting your shot fast before the goalie has much time to react. It's dangerous, and if that's on target, that might as well be a goal or a very, very impressive save from
Absolutely.
Aki.
Fantastic look early for Van Higgy. Love it.
Yeah, and a known sniper in these parts. I mean, people don't really know him for his handles, but they don't need to. I mean, he's got a really good shot on him, and I'm excited to see if he's able to kind of connect with some more of those, and especially excited to see how Aki handles some of these Division Two shots as opposed to Div Three.
I've seen Aki in work. He's been quite a consistent goalie. Granted, he hasn't gotten a lot of time, I believe, in D2. He's only started maybe 3 or 4 games, but he's been fantastic in those games he has
Yeah,
started.
and in Pugs as well. I've been keeping a little bit of track of him and seeing some clips here and there, and yeah, just really an impressive goalie, and it's really exciting to see how those Pug goalies do in these
Oh no,
league
Lettuce.
formats. Uh oh.
Oh no, Lettuce. What's going on there?
Stuck behind Sleepy, thankfully bailed out, and the shutout is still protected as Sleepy whips it up the ice, not finding a teammate. Ren able to pick it up. Ren starting for the Castors tonight, hopefully to get some good moments in. Had some great goals in D3 the other night. and hoping to keep up that momentum as Higgy tips it back to Dabs.
Shout out to Ren for the Renport. The work he's done to cover the teams here
So
in the
cool.
PHL. It's awesome to see. I love it. Love the community.
Yeah, and you know, it's how I keep up with the league's trades. It's how I keep up with some of the standings. So, you know, on the production media team as well, it's a very helpful resource and just a great thing for the game to have.
Absolutely. Shout out to him.
As we have Dabs setting up a shot, but quickly whipped down. Mouse skating up the ice. A dangerous offensive weapon if he gets the headway, but tapped away for now. He's going to have to wait for a better chance later. Stamkos maybe getting a pass, but whipping it just high and over the net as Tim Jim is trying to scoop it out.
Those of you at home, if you haven't seen it, check out the goal that Mouse scored in D1 last week. Absolutely incredible.
Crazy.
Air Jordan type stuff, man. In the air, tipping it. One of the best goals I've ever seen.
Air Mouse, they call him.
Air Mouse.
And I don't think I was playing for that game, but I did get to see the clip, and I'm excited to get some ice time with him later this week. And we have Ren. Yeah, go ahead.
Character for sure.
Yeah,
I love the energy he brings, man.
Yeah, it's the same way that the Renport kind of is there to bring some energy for the game. I believe Mouse is a staple of the community in other regards, and we'll see if he can make something happen here. A big shot, but going a little bit wide of the net. And Stamkos trying to continue this attack.
Sometimes you just got to throw it on net and see what happens. I like the idea for Mouse.
Especially with how puck is right now. I mean, any shot could go in. That's why I try and say a lot to the team is just, you know, no matter who the goalie is, nothing is guaranteed. So if you have a good shot, you might as well take it as Nem rips it up and over. But some dangerous chances, and Sleepy hoping to be there for when these start connecting.
Yeah, they're just a little outside. I think they can dial it in. The Castors are getting close here, so.
Yeah, Aki able to swipe it away. Another shot lifting up Van Higgy. The sniper lifts a lob shot over Aki's pad. Wishing he had a better rebound on that, but as we see Lettuce saying, rebound merchant there. A great heads-up play to tap that puck again.
Exactly. You gotta, when you shoot the puck, you can't take a picture, right? You gotta keep playing, and he followed up and got rewarded for it.
Way to stay with the play.
Love to see it.
And the Castors on the back foot now, clearing it up to Stamkos. Mao's open in the slot, going into some coverage, trying to get a quick response. It doesn't feel great to be down. You want to minimize that time, but not quite able to make that connection. Higgy, maybe seeing if this pass will get him to another goal. And Ren whipping it back down, keeping the attack going for his team, but Lettuce there to defend, whipping it around to Dabs, picking it up in his back corner. Perhaps a pass down to a teammate to get another attack going for the red team. Landing to Higgy in coverage and whipped.
Good look with 3 seconds left to just get something down there. Fantastic play. Lettuce just always seems to be making the right play at the right time, the right pass. What a player. Very
aware player, and like you said, great clock management. Very attentive to kind of get that last clear and last shot off with a few seconds left. It's honestly, you see a lot of goals scored that way where, you know, the team can kind of let their guard down with just a couple seconds left, and every second counts. So
all too well. I know as the goalie for the East Coast Gladiators, we lose focus quite a bit at the end of the period. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had my own game where we got scored on probably the last 30 seconds to take it to overtime, and that was, you know, you always end up kicking yourself. So.
It's such an awful feeling, especially letting in a goal as the goalie.
Yeah, it's evil. Stamkos whipping around, trying to get a wrap, and almost tucked in. Stamkos saying, no shutout for you, Sleepy. Not able to cut that attack away in time. And Mouse
getting into the blue paint. A little call for Gint. I don't think that's gonna work though, because I don't think he had a chance, but shout out to Mouse, though, getting in the dirty areas.
I know. Just grind him down puck for Mouse, getting into the crease, not afraid to get a little bit dirty, making sure he gets a piece of the puck. And
absolutely. The ever-controversial Mouse.
And we'll see if we get another argument later tonight. I'll have my popcorn out as Van Higgy not able to connect with that shot. Lettuce. In the offensive zone, a rip to Aki's pads, not enough height or accuracy to quite get a goal, but another threatening chance for sure as Tim Jim picks it up.
Good play to stay on the post and not be fooled. Maybe to cheat a little bit on a pass there by Aki. Just
It's a killer.
staying solid on the post.
And slips off of Higgy's stick. Lettuce giving him a nice shot, letting him know that he saw that happen. Ren picking up in his back end. And
a little bit of bad blood between these two. A lot of tripping going on down there. I like it.
Yeah, I wonder what that locker room's like. Aki risking a little bit, going out for a clear, but ends up landing safely. Lettuce! His stick has magnets in it.
Holy smokes.
A staple of his playing is being able to get that stick in the air and knocking the puck down. Nem going for a stretch clear, but Stamkos there to catch it as it gets sent back into Castors territory as we're 1-1 going to the second period. And we'll see if which team seems like they can really make the next great chance.
Both teams have been playing really well defensively. I mean, granted, we have 2 goals, but they're both kind of weird goals. So
yeah.
Both teams are really playing well defensively, making sure that everything kind of stays outside. It's definitely a close game.
Both goalies kicking themselves or calling gints, depending on how you see it, for the goals that go in. Obviously, rebounds going in is a nightmare, and you can't always account for it. But
exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
rebound control and puck is non-existent. So
a tight 1-1 game, as I think as of right now, it's hard to call it one way or another. I think it could really go either way.
Absolutely, both teams super evenly matched. It feels like.
Yeah, that's why I was so excited to cast this match. It's a lot of familiar faces as Jimothy almost able to knock it down out of the air, and a lot of strong skaters, a lot of strong defenders as well. Strong goalies. I mean, it's obviously the recipe for a great game. Mao's in the offensive zone, catching it. Ready for a rip, but blocked by Dabs as Dab turns it around and tries to get it going for his team.
Great defensive play by Dabs, not being fooled by a quick little stick handle, staying on that puck. Great play.
Yeah, way to keep your focus. Jimothy knocking off a Stamkos, hoping to get an attack. Slips off his stick, though, and when he's able to get it back, just ripped over the net as Higgy is not able to keep it. A stretch pass from Ren, cut off by Lettuce, always in the way.
Who else?
Nem knocks it away. A little bit of a battle in center ice as Mouse comes away with it, seeing what he can get done. A rip, a little bit across, but maybe Stamkos is able to pick it up and keep this play going.
Ooh, sneaky little pass by Mouse trying to get in front there.
Not quite connecting with it, but you're seeing the creativity kind of form from this team as it's ripped high at Aki. Keeping an eye on that puck in case it finds its way to the target. A big pass. Van Higgy not quite able to knock it down out of the air. I know Meatsail makes it look easy, but it is hard to get those going.
One thing I do know from playing Vancouver is they like that lob cross crease pass. They've tried to land that a few times. I was pretty aware to it, but they go to that well a lot. God, Lettuce. My goodness, dude. Let them have some fun, man. Come on.
Yeah. If anybody were to do it, I can imagine Lettuce batting it out of the air, but I mean, it's a really strong offensive strategy if you can get those connections. I mean, it's hard to track as a goalie. You have to commit to having your stick in the air instead of down low where you really like to keep it.
Truly.
You get a little clear into the blue zone with 30 seconds left. And Ren hoping to make another chance for his team, trying to take the next lead, but having some difficulties reaching up into the ice. Mao's perhaps getting another chance, but blocked by Dabs again. Dabs really marking his man here.
Dabs is playing great neutral zone, high defense. Love to see it.
And as we approach 10 seconds left in the period, Van Higgy clearing it back into his corner. Dabs knocking it off the wall, trying to play it safe, but Mao's creating some opportunities here. Stamkos as well with a big pass in front, but Ren!
What a look.
He will be thinking about that one in bed tonight.
Definitely.
That is...
It was a little bit in his feet, but still, that is a tough one to get. But, man, you really gotta hate to see that happen as a shooter. A puck wide open in the slot.
I know.
Nothing in front of you, man.
And sometimes you just can't help it. You know, like you said, it could be in your feet, but, you know, it's a horrible feeling to have that opportunity held right in front of you, as we have Dabs confirming that was a Gint call. So perhaps we'll get some review in the post-game. Or if Nick is able to get the call processed, we can play the extra period.
Hopefully we can expedite this. Hopefully I don't have to wait too long.
Yeah, as Jimothy with a huge chance, but fans on at the last moment. Lettuce letting him know as well, really pushing his team to perform well. Not going to have these little almost chances. He wants to win.
Absolutely. Tim Jim, fantastic hands. He has undressed me a few times, especially in the last game I
Oh
played
yeah.
against him. I got quite embarrassed by that man. He has incredible hands. Couldn't quite find it there though.
Yeah, I mean, especially when that opportunity pops up, kind of like with Ren there. I mean, your brain kind of takes an extra second when you realize that there's a real chance of getting that goal, and it's just about keeping that ice in your veins when you're on the big stage. You really want to perform, but it's got to keep your cool in those situations.
So, I mean, who wouldn't be a little nervous getting casted on Katie's channel? The nerves they are running a little bit here for these players. I
I
can
know.
tell.
High stakes and, lots to prove. Again, a kind of a disparity in the standings between these teams, but I believe if we look at the talent, I mean, there's not that big of a gap.
There isn't, and even in the middle chunk of this division too, it's all so close. Even the bottom teams that are
Yeah.
hoping to get wins, they can turn it around easily. We still have, I think, a little more than a month left in the season, so there's
They
still
got
so
time.
much time.
Especially with a game like Puck where, you know, they're playing 2 games per matchup and it's still a game where honestly no win is confirmed. We even saw it in the preseason tournament where even the games that felt like for sure wins for one team were still, decided by one goal, a little bit of luck, a little bit of chaos going on. So it'll once we really get some more time into the season, we'll see what these standings really say.
Exactly, it is still quite early, but I think there's a lot of teams starting to kind of find their identity and have their play style, and it's fun to see at this point in the season. It's really you can kind of see what a team's like goals and see what they're really trying to do on offense and defense.
Yeah, exactly. And it's early in the season, you're still figuring out some of the chemistry as well, still making some trades and getting that locker room
Absolutely.
solidified as Dabs has a chance here. But Nem just able to get his stick around him and tipping the puck aside. Dabs gotta be frustrated at that moment, but a great sign for the Frost Giants as they're able to get an attack going, even if they're not able to finish it. As Mouse clears it up to Stamkos, perhaps a chance here, but Stamkos not able to catch the puck and whip it around and see if he can get a pass going instead.
The game slowed down a little bit here. I think both teams have kind of locked in a little bit defensively, making sure that they're not cheating. It's a 1-1 game, 2 minutes left in the third. You don't want to give up anything big.
Yeah, near goal there, but not quite going in. Mouse skating it up, see what he can get done, and a bunch of coverage, but Stamkos able to stay open, but Dabs locking it down yet again. I mean, Dabs and
Dabs and
Lettuce,
Lettuce.
man, I would not want to
Haunting
skate
shooters,
against them.
nightmares.
Stamkos, Mouse
Oh,
able to pick it up off of the tip.
what a play. Mouse following up on the shot. This is the second time we've seen a big old juicy rebound or deflected something or other and a goal being scored off of it.
Yeah, great way to take advantage of the situation. Dabs trying to block the shot, but tipping it over to Mouse, and Mouse says, I'm going to finish this to send his team up by 1 goal in the third. That is a huge go-ahead goal, and if they can lock it down on defense, that might be the game for the Castors.
Could be, but I will never count out the Vancouver Frost Giants. They've
Yeah.
got so much talent.
And especially now that, it's not tight anymore, you're not thinking about overtime, you're thinking about survival here. You're going to lock in on that offense. You're going for more bombastic passes, and you really want to make something happen here.
Exactly. They're going to cut it loose here, hopefully, and just generate it what they can, even if it sacrifices the defense a little bit.
And Dab's skating up, a big offensive threat going into this game. I know he's been hanging back on defense, but that guy's got a shot on him. He's got deets. And Lettuce ripping it back in, hoping to make something happen. Mao's there to pick it up, keeping his team going. Putting the team on his back right now, sending it down to Stamkos. Stamkos not able to get the play to the net. Dab's holding it in the back, trying to find a target down deep. Rips it, and Jimothy there, but Mao's yet again there to block it. He's everywhere right now.
Wrapped up right now. He's got the seatbelt out, locking up these players.
Yeah, I mean, you'd maybe expect him trying to hunt for another goal or something like that, but being pretty selfless here and playing for the team. Ren going in for a goal and rips it, but a little bit too high. Sleepy not having to make a save there. Stamkos maybe trying to get another play going. 18 seconds left in the period, and the Frost Giants are strapped for time as Ren strips it off of Dabs. 10 seconds left. This is going to be a close call.
Castors doing a great job of just possess this puck and just not put anything in danger. I love it. Some might think it's cowardly. I think it's brilliant strategy right there.
I mean, they really locked it down. They got that goal. Obviously, we'll see if there's a goal interference confirmation or
Yeah.
denial. But hopefully,
No news is usually good news, so hopefully we can just play on here.
Yeah. And you know what? The bright side of this all is we don't have to make that decision. We just get to
Hey,
cast.
wipe my hands clean of it. I love it.
And poor Monty is somewhere getting a ping, calling the head
He's gotten
office.
15 DMs and Discord from this. I'm certain of it.
As Damkos picks up, sends it to Mouse.
Oh,
Mouse almost tipping it in. Really making sure.
Recreate the magic.
I know. As Aki out of the crease, clearing it down. Mouse trying to catch it, able to bat it to Stamkos. This guy is electric right now.
Mouse is on one right now for sure.
Stamkos behind the net, trying to pass it to Ren, but Lettuce there to block it up, ripping it down to Timothy Jimothy. And Tim Jim skating in a few deeks, maybe a shot here, but just hitting the side of the net. Aki not worried about making that save. But a little bit awkward here as it bounces off the side of the net, but nothing too serious. And Aki out of the crease again, clearing it down to his team.
I love Aki's not afraid to get out there and whip that puck down the ice and try to make a G pass. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's with great power comes great responsibility. You really keep that play going for your team as Mouse almost gets another shot off. But as I've learned the hard way, those clears are important, but if you mess them up, it is so bad. I've lost many a game by accidentally tapping it to the opponents there. So good job by Aki to play it safe.
They feel so much harder in a competitive game than they do
Oh
in
my
like
god,
a puck. It's crazy.
And probably some communication from the team there. Always good to let them know. But Stamkos turning in and ripping it short side.
What
Sleepy
a
not
shot.
there to stop it. Oh, I believe that was the extra period. Okay.
Oh, that makes sense.
And
But, I would have liked them to inform Castors about that, but shout out to them.
so they were going to count that as a regulation win. So very honorable coming from the both teams there. As Stamkos saying, "No, we're that good. We could have won in regulation."
Yeah.
And man, Sleepy kicking himself about that short side goal. Obviously, like you said earlier, it's so tempting to dash back into the center because you have a lot of net to cover, but it's sometimes you just got to delay that reaction by another split second.
Sometimes you just gotta play the angle, be confident in the angle that you're playing, and let the stick work. You know.
Yeah, as I've had a stretch of bad games recently, and is red hot information on the mind of just play smart, don't do anything rash, and don't forget how to play the game, guys. As we have a brief 2-minute little stretching break, perhaps called by Nick.
Gotta get the Gatorade and the bananas in the locker room.
Some orange slices.
Yeah, exactly.
And I will say, really happy with how I think Ren, not typically on the starting roster for this team, but after a really great performance on his D3 team, I mean, really shining here. Not not stealing the show, but playing really solidly with the team, making a few plays. Going both sides when he needs to. I think that's is going pretty well for him.
Definitely is. I believe he's mostly been playing kind of the back defenseman role, and usually when your name's not getting called much in a game as a defenseman, you're probably doing a good job.
Yeah.
It means you're not turning it over, you're not making mistakes. So that's what you want from your reserves to come in and when they have to get some ice time, just be solid. Don't try to do too much. Just keep it simple and don't make it too crazy.
Yeah, unless your name is Lettuce or something, the defense is probably going to look pretty boring.
Exactly.
But still felt like a game that could go either way. But in those last few periods, it really looked like the Castors started not running away with it, but gaining a lot of confidence in their plays. And
they're getting swaggy, trying to make those jump passes.
I know.
It starts with Mouse. He's the emotional leader. It feels like on the Castors. So when he starts doing jump shots and jump passes, that's how you know they're getting loose and feeling.
Especially, and it's one of those things where when it rains, it pours. You get that first goal, and you realize we can actually do this thing. You kind of break that barrier. Obviously, got to be a little bit intimidating playing against a goalie like Sleepy, boasting so many shutouts. But even the best can still bleed. I mean, and they're proving it here.
Exactly. All you got to do is see that first one go in, and you realize that they're mortal. You know, they could be killed. So I think that was huge for their confidence to get that first goal and realize that they can do it. You know,
Yeah, exactly. And
I
just
have
some,
a I have a feeling though that Vancouver is going to come out here in the second game and strap it up.
yeah,
I don't think it'll
down
be
but
as
not
easy
out.
for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's with such great players like Van Higgy, able to get that one goal again for both sides, proving that goals can get scored, and a lot of like honestly really good chances coming out, like that one from Timothy Jimothy, where he just didn't connect on that last tap. But you can imagine that game going a lot differently if he's able to sink that one. So
Certainly, and what I've kind of noticed a lot in these games is that first game that you play is a little sloppier. It's a little harder because you don't know what you're going to come out and see most of the
mm,
time. Then the second game is where everyone kind of settles into their game, and it definitely opens up, and it's a lot more back and forth fun puck. So
yeah,
I'm
you
looking
feel each
forward to
other
see what
out.
happens now that they've got a taste to see what happens, and hopefully this game will start soon here. I am on a hope maybe double duty, trying to get back to color for a good old log on PHL 2. So hopefully they can stop jumping around and start this game already.
And I'm not afraid to solo cast if that's what the situation calls for. But appreciating all the input here.
Of course, of course.
As
Oh no, not like
oh,
this.
at the very least, they did play the extra period, and the Castors won it confidently, and both teams could appreciate it. But
Very true.
maybe some arguments about the goal going in and not being decided sooner kind of affects the momentum of the game. But there's only so much you can do, and you know what? Can you really blame Mouse for playing grinded out puck?
No, absolutely not. You gotta if he's not getting in the crease, borderline ginting, that's not the mouse that I want. Like I want him to be in the crease. I want him to be doing that. You know.
Exactly. And like you said, kind of trying to be that emotional leader, perhaps trying to like really get the boys going. Some moves like that, getting in a little bit of trouble, kind of stirring the pot a little bit. You see Lettuce doing it as well with the nice shots for his teammates. I mean,
Certainly.
you can
I
say
mean,
what you want
lettuce.
about professionalism, but you just need some of that drive.
Yeah, lettuce. Nice shotting his own team. I mean, whatever works for them. They're second in the league for a reason, I guess. So they must be doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the other thing that's really keeping this game interesting is both teams with some of those bombastic personalities. Even Dabs chirping a little bit about that Gint call. These people are fired up. They want to get a win here on both
Exactly.
sides, and let's kick things
Makes the
off.
puck fun. And when you really want to win, you hate the other guys that you're playing against. Makes for some good puck. Hopefully, we see some huge hits here.
Exactly, and
That's
it
what I'm looking
matters
forward to.
even more when you're on the big stage as well. As Mao is almost able to tip it in again,
Almost had a crazy tip.
and would have been a way to set the tone early. Still getting sleepy, a little bit scared. Gotta tighten the bolts a little bit. Gotta be a little bit frustrated with letting in a few goals that past game. Can't blame him with the shots that he was facing, but really trying to
Absolutely not.
recover.
But I know you know as well as goalies. You let in 3 goals in a game, and you kind of feel like it's your fault. The reason you
Yeah,
lost, even though it's not necessarily true. It can play in your head a little bit.
it can get on your mental. The one saving grace is that a huge stick save by
Great save.
Aki is that if you keep track of the standings for these games, there's a series where one team wins by like 5 goals and they lose the next game. It's nothing is ever for certain. So Sleepy's got to be, you know,
Got to put it
just
behind him, and I have a feeling he will. Like
yeah,
he's rock solid.
yeah. If you have that many shutouts, you got to have some good composure. So I can imagine this being a strong performance yet again. And Aki doing great things so far in this game as well, getting that stick save earlier, rocking the pink stick.
Big pink stick. I love it.
A
That's
classic.
goalie drip right there
That
for
is goalie
sure.
drip. As Mao's trying to break through again, not quite connecting. Dabs on him again, making sure he's not getting any free goals. Because if you're going to get another, you'll work for it.
It looks like maybe they've switched up the strategy here. Vancouver Lettuce kind of isn't playing in that back free safety role. It looks like it's Dabs right now. So keep an eye on that. See, maybe Lettuce is trying to step up a little, get a little more offense.
Yeah, and like you said, going into the second games, there's some adjustments being made, some feeling each other out, maybe even some line changes, or at the very least positioning changes. As a big slap by Nem, shades of Lettuce, whipping it down. Van Higgy there, but just wide. Lettuce not doing the quick chat this time, but we're all thinking it.
He had his fingers on T1 for sure. He was ready to
go. As Lettuce rips it over. Not quite meeting his teammates. That's a little bit dangerous with that turnover there. And Mouse and Stamkos batting at each other a little bit. Nem ready to rip it. Knocks it to the side of it, but maybe a turn shot, but not on target. Mouse trying to whip it back in. Or even a wrap, but Lettuce again on defense, making sure not to let anything in for free.
Yeah, the Castors look like they're trying that little go behind the net and pass it right before they get behind the net to maybe fool the goalie into sliding to the other side and catching him off guard.
Those fake wraps will get you, and if you get really into the the chess game of it, faking the fake wrap is even, there's so much that goes on, but Van Higgy sniping that top corner when you least expect it.
We'll take a shower after that one. Holy smokes.
Oh my god. Cutting it in, like we said in that first game, those quick cut-in shots, hard to read where it's going to go, and perfectly lifting into that top corner to get his team one goal. Unbelievable shot, and we'll see how the Castors can respond to that.
Huge for Vancouver. I'm sure that is a weight off their shoulders getting the first goal here, especially with a goalie like Sleepy, because sometimes all you need is just one.
Exactly. And, that's what they got in the back of their mind. Not trying to rely on their goalie, but knowing that they have a good backup when they need it. As it gets ripped down to
Statistically, they're probably going to win this game with 8 shutouts for Sleepies. But obviously, you got to play the game, so.
Exactly. No games come for free. Got Van Higgy maybe going back for seconds, not quite connecting.
I thought he was going to do the same exact move. It looked like he wanted it.
But Mao's on the break. Lettuce trying to get in the way, jumping up, but Mao's ripping a shot just wide. Not quite going to connect this time, but the Frost Giants got to be scared there.
Move by Mouse on Lettuce.
Yeah.
Had him going the wrong way. Beautiful move.
Yeah, I mean, really, when it's Dabs and Lettuce back there, you got to get a little bit creative. Got to really have some tight gameplay. Mao's been working on his deeks. We can tell as Sleepy goes out for a stretch clear, landing in Van Higgy's stick, almost getting another chance, but Aki steps up to push that out, and thankfully for the Castors ending that play.
Loves the plays by Aki here. Ooh.
And a huge save from Sleepy.
What a stick save, my goodness.
Great pass by Stamkos and great attempt at the finish by Mouse, but Sleepy's there to stop it.
Sleepy's showing a little stick work.
Yeah, exactly.
Saw what Aki was doing and said I could do it a little better.
Yeah, I can do what you can do. We're both good goalies. Lettuce tipping it away as he tries to pick it up and gets a stretch pass down. Jimothy almost cherry picking there, but not able to get the pass off as Stamkos runs into the Van Higgy to kill that play. And we will end that period. Aki with a little jump save, cheeky intermission save. And man,
risky business. That was a quick period, my gosh.
Time flies when Van Higgy's sniping on you.
What a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, I mean, that first goal coming off the rebound, it's good, like paying attention and good finishing, but not like necessarily the snipe that we were talking about, but that was just a tried and true, doing it on his own, cutting back in and lifting it up. Hard to save, hard to shoot, and a great play to make the game 1-0. And we see
so in tight like that and lift it as high as he did. Goal scorers are going to score, man.
Yeah, I mean, just ridiculous. So frustrating to save. And Nem ripping it across ice, not quite meeting a teammate, but Ren hopefully able to stop Van Higgy from progressing the play. As Jimothy picks it up, a wide open Dabs, but Stamkos able to kill the attack. As Jimothy says, nope, I'm not done. Gonna rip it at Aki, but just wide. Aki there with a stick.
Aki's aggressiveness almost backfired there. Almost got caught out of his own net.
And we're seeing more of these handles as well from Jimothy. Wants to get his own goal. Frustrated that he didn't get in that first game. And some dangerous chances from Vancouver in the second game.
Absolutely. If I'm not mistaken, Jimothy, I believe, is second in the league in goals. He he had 9 going into the
Oh
day. He
my
was
god, as he tries for
lighting
another.
up the lamp. And good thing Aki is on his game, making
Yeah.
sure that that first goal that he got scored on is not going to happen again.
No, gotta learn from the mistakes. And, that's especially what you're thinking when you get that first goal scored on you in the game is, what can I do to not have that happen again? And Aki, listening and learning as he stopped these next attacks, as scary as they
Sign
have
of a
been.
great player.
And Timothy, maybe progressing the play against Stamkos trying to cover him, but not quite able to as a big lift in the air. Van Higgy trying to swat it down. And Dabs there as well. This is a strong attack. 3 up in the zone for Vancouver. As Mouse knocks it down. Timothy turning and ripping it, but just wide as Aki tries to pass it to his teammates. They've got to be sweating right now.
Those turn shots are so hard to get on target. And he was getting, it was pretty close. That was a valiant attempt.
Says that stretch pass doesn't quite find the stick of Van Higgy, but Mao's not able to keep Van Higgy off of it as he gets another chance here, turning and ripping it. A hard shot to make, and that one's not going to be on target.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Nem got a little piece of that.
Ah.
Good body position. Thought I heard the oof sound.
And Nem, honestly, we haven't talked about him too much, but he's had some very powerful defensive plays here, doing great things.
Same thing we spoke about it with Ren. It's if you don't hear much from the defenseman, that's usually a good sign. So.
Exactly. And, one goal going in isn't that much. I mean, it's going to feel tough when you're trying to score on Sleepy, but the defense for both teams has still been locking it down. I mean, these games have been close.
Absolutely. Very close, tight. There's not a lot of ice out there for guys to work with, so.
Yeah, only seeing... Oh my god! A dome save from Sleepy, it looks like.
What a save. Certainly snuck up on him.
I know, and what a way to keep it to 0. I mean, tough to remain composed when the puck is that high, but very attentive, making sure to stand up and not let it sink over the shoulders as the Castors are held to 0.
Yeah, a little bit of that magic is gone. I'd like to see Mouse get back involved and try some of that Mouse stuff that he does.
Exactly, some locker room energy back in the game, hopefully, as Ren tries to pick this up. Aki ready for the G-bomb. Maybe some communication gaps. Ren's still pushing towards that. Oh, going for the goalie goal. A few sticks in there ready to swat it in as well, but even more defenders there to kill the play. Van Higgy almost on an open break, but Ren is there, and the puck does not connect with either of them. As we get Mouse picking it up. And a little scrum in the corner here. Tim Jim coming out with it. Deking it around. Some great hands from him. But Nem there to break it up.
Goodness. I don't know who that was, but he put somebody in a blender behind the net. That was crazy.
Those are the hits we're looking for. Mao's picking it up. Has Lettuce to get around. A great deke, but a great stick by Lettuce to kill the play there. Way to keep track of the puck.
A treat to watch Lettuce play defense. It really is.
Yeah, and so close to the camera at that. As Dabs breaks up the play, gets away with the puck. Maybe he can get something going. A lob, sinking, but just behind the net. Not going to be a threat. We get Lettuce cleaning it up in his own zone. Stamkos providing some pressure, but not anything too strong. As it goes behind Aki's net. Van Higgy there to make a play. They tap back to Dabs as he passes it into the slot, hitting the pad of Aki. Found his way through, but not to the stick of any Frost Giants.
It's a good look, though, at the end of the period. Just throw something on and see what happens.
Exactly. And we're going to the third, I believe, right? This game is flying by.
I believe so, it is.
And if you're on the Castors, you're thinking, man, this game is really flying by. We got to get a little action going. I mean, they've had a few chances, but again, really not feeling that momentum that they had in that first game. Still waiting for that first goal. And right now they still have that shutout hanging over their heads with, it's feeling very likely, and they want to do what they can to break through that barrier.
Definitely. Like I'd mentioned earlier, definitely Vancouver is really good at making that adjustment, and they definitely have clamped down here in the second game and made sure that they had numbers back to match whatever the Castors had, and it's been shutting them down.
Oh, but Mouse with a great shot says, no, I can get my response in, but I'm going to say with these veteran presences like Dabs on the team, I mean, He's played a lot of puck, a lot of HQM as well.
Ooh.
Huge stick save from
Both
Aki.
goalies making huge stick saves here.
With some of these players that have been around for a little bit longer, it's they have a little bit more composure, a little bit more experience in adapting to these teams. Van Higgy going for a snipe, but them in the way. A great defensive effort.
Defense. Love to see that as a goalie with your defenseman getting his stick up there, but not tipping it into your own net. Great play by them.
It's a tricky dance to dance because it's so easy off your body, like we saw in last game. Dab's getting a goal scored off his body. You're playing with fire a little bit, but when it works beautifully. Get a let us clear up to Van Higgy, trying to keep the passing plays going, but not quite connecting with Tim Jim. Still gets the puck there, Russians it, going into the corner. A little bit of creativity. And Stamkos hoping to end this offensive attack. You're not even sure what's going to come next from Tim Jim. That says, here, take it, Mouse. He's not going to keep it, but Aki is back there. Pressured by Van Higgy. This could get dangerous. A drop past Tim Jim there. Aki's not there. Ren's in the net. And Ren not able to stop it.
Did Ren get a piece of this? Did he almost make this save?
It really looks like it. Oh, it just hits the post over him. Oh, and Aki has to be kicking himself in such a close game. As
man.
Why
is double-edged sword Aki's been living by with the aggressiveness playing the puck,
Yeah, eventually it's gonna come back to bite you. You lose track of the minimap, you lose track of people's speeds as Van Higgy's there, uncontested, and Jimothy off of the rebound. The Frost Giants running away with it, and the Castors is trying to plug this leak.
Aki definitely look like he's never a good look when you're facing the wrong way after you get scored on.
Yeah.
So.
And it's tough to keep your composure. Obviously, you're frustrated after giving up that clear for what's essentially a free goal if the team can shoot it on target, and just not quite in the right position for that attack. And 0-3 in the third with 3 minutes left. I mean, what a fast turnaround for this game.
Absolutely. It can happen like that, too. That's why you always got to keep playing no matter what the score is. You never know what can happen.
Exactly. And not quite over yet as Stamkos tries to get a play going. A Mao's wide open on the right. A pass in the air coming, but Air Mao's not that high up in the air. Got to keep it a little bit lower for him. And Van Higgy.
The idea, though.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get creative in these situations where you just kind of need any offense. Dab skating it up, though. A big shot. Jimothy there, and the Castors have to be sweating. I mean, these chances are popping up so much more frequently than they were in those first two periods.
Absolutely. The Castors do not want to let another one in. It's going to break the confidence. And as much good stuff as they've done last game and this game, if you lose 4-0, you don't want to look at the tape. You don't want to feel good about what happened. So
it's going to be a quiet call after that, yeah.
Definitely.
And trying to either get a comeback or at the very least some consolation goals. Let's see what the Castors can piece together in this last period. A big shot. Aki with the tip off the stick says, I still got hands. Maybe losing your composure, but still definitely a lot of talent in that crease.
Yeah, still fighting too. Still fighting. Obviously, he gave up that soft one maybe last goal, but he's back in. He's back locked in.
Exactly. Stamkos looking for a passing play. Van Higgy let her break it up. A nice behind the back tap to Dabs. As Dabs looks for the pass to Van Higgy. Van Higgy almost there, but knocked away by Ren. Great defensive effort there, trying to keep the game relatively close. As Stamkos knocks it off of Tim Jim to send it back into the Frost Giants zone. And what looks like Mao's knocking Sleepy out of the net. There you go, getting the team fired up. A great catch by Aki, but the tap-in Merchant. No. Ooh. And maybe some instant karma for the Castors as Mao's knocks Sleepy out of the crease, and instantly the puck is in the other zone, getting knocked into Aki's net again. A 4-0 lead for the Frost Giants. I mean, it is looking bleak for the Castors. At this point, you're just playing out your ice time, trying not to let anything up too embarrassing, and getting something done. Mao's hopping in the crease, getting a little bit rambunctious with it, to be honest.
That's what I like, though. If it's 4-0, 40 seconds left, I want to see something like that.
Nice little tap down from him, but Van Higgy stripping it off of him. No defenders back there to stop it, and Van Higgy not able to get around Aki. Aki fighting to keep it at least to
Super
4.
aggressive. I like that he hasn't lost the confidence though.
Exactly.
He's still out there challenging that breakaway, man. Shout out
Exactly.
to him. Great confidence by that person.
Exactly. And still fighting for it. Sleepy still going out to play the puck, even though it has not been a very sound strategy this series. Nem knocking back to Stamkos. And like we said earlier, like in these sets, one game can be close and one game can just be a full blowout, as 4-0 for Frost Giants is the final score.
Yeah, that last game obviously got away here in the third period, but you know, overall it was a really good game. Great 2 games to watch for sure. Fun to cast. Katie, I gotta say it's a pleasure to get in the booth with you.
Yeah.
I'm a big
Likewise.
fan of the Katie montages. I look forward to them every time they're posted. So it's a great honor to meet the legend in the flesh.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Of course, great to have PHL broadcasting legend Blueski with me in the booth. And as we close on the stream, good night and good puck. Enjoy your night.